Gaming has quite a lot of scars and old injuries compared to other people his age. And every time he comes to see me, he always seems to have a new bruise here and a new sprain there. No matter how many times I insist that he needs to be more careful, it always goes in one ear and out the other. All I can do is teach him some useful techniques for dressing and treating his wounds. I hope he finds them useful.
Gaming's work has all the trappings of a chivalric hero. Picture the scene. On a dark and moonless night, a lone young figure clad in black stands fearless on a secluded country road. They say his mastery of the martial arts is unparalleled, and the mythical beast by his side always does his bidding. Bandits and brigands beware, for none who challenge him come away unscathed. When he has the time, I'd love to hear more about his experiences as a guard. You should come along too.
The first time Gaming told me I had a bad case of rock and roll fever, I checked my forehead to see if he was right. My temperature was fine, so I denied it, but he insisted it was true. We went back and forth arguing about it for hours before I realized it was all just a misunderstanding. Gaming explained it was just another way to say you're a fan of something. There's never a dull moment when Gaming is around. Anyway, I've definitely come around to rock and roll fever as an expression. I'll have to work it into the lyrics next time I write a song.
Oh boy! Once I know Gaming is coming, I make sure to prepare a huge pot of tea in advance. You know, so he can wash some of the spicy food down. I've offered to tone down the spice a bit for him, but he absolutely insists that he prefers the authentic flavor. And he's not even just saying that to be polite. Believe me, I know a true foodie when I see one. Anyway, if that's what he prefers, then who am I to disappoint?
One is very fond of Gaming. He is good-hearted and entertaining in conversation, but never grandiloquent. We first met when one was resting by a lake, and he very kindly shared some of his provisions with me. Later, he commented that one seemed to be a wise elder, worthier of respect than even the adepti themselves. This wise elder will be sure to look out for him after that.
When I went to look for Master the other day, I found her chatting with a very elegant-looking lady. She said her name was SHUYU, but her hijinks didn't fool me. I could tell it was Auntie Cloud Retainer right away. I mean, Master looked like she was really happy to see her, so how could it be a stranger? Evidently, she was an old friend.
I plan to have Lady XIANYUN over for a casual conversation over tea in a few days. I happen to have in my possession a number of mechanical devices, and I would be most interested to hear her insights on their design and use. It would also be a fine opportunity to hear about her experiences as an adeptus, adapting to a new life in Liyue Harbor. All I require now is a suitable candidate to deliver the invitation to her on my behalf. Would you be interested, traveler?
I hear many merchants of Liyue tell tales of a Miss XIANYUN. By most accounts, she appears proud and taciturn upon first glance. Yet in conversation, people find her to be forthright and fair-minded, and they are pleased to make her acquaintance. I am glad to hear this, but I have also heard a great many accounts lauding her readiness to part with large sums of mora.
Auntie XIANYUN always has my back. Once, she saw that my wushu head was looking a little worse for wear, and instantly said she could make like 10 more for me, all twice my size. She was pretty insistent. It took me forever to talk her down to just remodeling the one I already had. And boy, is this an improvement. It looks way more impressive, it's much lighter, and the lion blanket constantly rustles in the air like there's an adeptal wind making it dance. I couldn't be happier with it.
Cloud Retainer, Miss XIANYUN. We went shopping together a while back, but we ended up stopping at every single stall. And she wanted to inspect every item they sold before we could leave. When we finally remembered to get something to eat, it was already dark out. It really reminded me of the time I used to spend training in the mountains with her. Back then, time also seemed to pass in the blink of an eye.
The last time Master and Shuyu came to dine at Wanmin Restaurant, I noticed that Shuyu seemed to have adopted a number of Master's mannerisms. It gave me pause for thought. I grew up under Master's care too. Is it possible that I have subconsciously picked up a thing or two from her as well?